It's me again, it's Tom. I'm here this time in the idyllic setting of Mears Ashby, Northamptonshire, and we're off to find some folklore found. Here we are in an idyllic setting of Mears Ashby, about to talk about something quite dark, witches and witchcraft. Of course, nowadays people quite often practice witchcraft. They identify as witches, and that's acceptable. I've just been on a podcast called the Hedge Witches Almanac, talking about folklore, and this time of year we are just coming into the end of April and beginning of May, so this is Beltane. They celebrate the beginning of spring and summer. But you go back 500 years ago, from the 1500s up until the 1700s, witches and witchcraft and those who made pacts with the devil were by law sentenced to death. Of course, there were no ways of proving you were in league with the devil or that you were a witch, and it quite often ostracised those people living on the fringes of society, mainly women, and women who lived by their own means, and people would shun these women. And over the course of around 250 years, up to 1,000 people were tried and executed, mainly by burning at the stake, as witches. But by the early 1700s, the last few witch trials took place and the law changed in 1735. However, that didn't stop all witches being burnt or tried as witches. The year is 1785. The day is the 1st of August. Sarah Bradshaw is in trouble. You see, Sarah Bradshaw lived here in Mears Ashby, and she was on the fringes of society. Her neighbours, for some reason, had accused her of being a witch, and they had dragged her forward to be tested. There was only one real way of testing if they were a witch, and that was to dunk them. It was a practice to dunk them, a witch, in water. If they floated, then they are a witch, and they get burned for some bizarre reason, and they would burn and float.
There are ways of telling whether she is a witch.
If they drown, then, well, they were not a witch, but they are dead. That was Sarah Bradshaw's choice. What was she going to do? Admit she was guilty or take the trial? Here on the 1st of August 1785, at this pond here, the village pond, Sarah Bradshaw met her fate. She was sat upon a chair which dangled on the end of a very large pole. The pole was seesawed, so counterbalanced, and she was swung out over the pond. She was then dunked under the water, and the pole was left there. The whole village had come out, all her accusers had come out to see whether she would float, which meant she was a witch and they would burn her, or whether she would sink and drown. And after several minutes, there was no sign of Sarah Bradshaw until her lifeless body floated to the surface, her lungs now full of water, not air. Sarah Bradshaw was vindicated. She was not a witch, but she was also dead. So there we go, folks, a tiny nugget of folklore found here in the fantastic Mears Ashby. And if you ever get a chance to come here, do. I mean, look at the architecture, the stonework. That's the old vicarage just there, look. Beautiful, beautiful place, a lovely walk around. You'd have seen from the video. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe and click the notification bell for more videos. But just before I finish this one, I just want to say one thing. Whilst I was filming back down there somewhere, a gentleman popped his head out of a tiny little window in a beautiful little house that you'd have seen in the video, and he was wondering what the noise was. It's been so quiet, and I explained I was doing a folklore found video and told him about what I was doing on, and asked him if he knew the story of Sarah Bradshaw, which he did, which thumbs up, well done to that man. And as we pause for that, sorry about that, so thumbs up to that man. And as we were talking, he said yes, it's all a myth, it's not real. But does it need to be? Folklore, myth, legend, who cares? A story is a story, a good story. This particular one was reported in a local newspaper at the time, so it does bring into question his claim that it is a myth. However, we all know not everything reported in a newspaper can be classed as truthful. Fake news debate, I'm not getting into that just now. But as I return back to my car, I'm going to say goodbye and see you on the next Folklore Found.